I'm joined now by Vikas Tyagi, the CEO of Solytics Partners. Solytics Partners are the winners of the One to Watch Award for Financial Risk and Reporting in RiskTech 2024. Congratulations, both you and your team, Vikas, on the win.
Thank you so much, Mark. We are really delighted to have this award. And as a 40-year-old working on a startup, it was one aspirational award we wanted to have. We have seen RiskTech100 for very long. So glad to be here.
Good to see you. And thinking about Solytics Partners, it's quite a young firm, but you've been able to make some pretty major inroads across regulatory landscapes globally. Do you see convergence on a global perspective on regulatory expectation guidelines? Is that part of the story?
Yes, indeed it is, right? It's a lot more converging than what a lot of news cycles would want you to believe, right? Even starting from like Basel guidelines, which came long back, or look at the model risk guidelines, we started with SR 11.7 guidelines in the US. Then what EBA followed, PRA or OSPI has followed. And if you go into even like emerging jurisdictions like Asia Pac, or even look at the guidelines CBUE came with, we see there's a lot more convergence in the way regulators expect things to be done. Look at your liquidity stress testing, interest in banking book calculations, RAROC, or like CECL calculation or ECL calculation, right? So there's a lot more convergence that has been taking place in risk for over the years, not only right now. Similarly, when you go for AML space, right, the way FATF have been giving guidelines to multiple countries, things are pretty much standard across the globe. Yeah, someone may not have implemented to the level of granularity, but things are largely converging. And that was we had in our mind when we were starting our journey, that how we can look at that converging regulations and provide solutions services across that board.
That's an interesting story. I mean, it kind of makes sense. And to get to that, that ability to deal with converging landscapes, but still give that local flavor, right? It strikes me that the way to do that and the way Solytics Partners have been looking at it is this need to blend risk management and ALM through starting with deep domain expertise, but then understanding the technology and all the way out to the advanced analytics and the data itself. Do you think that's what's helping you, as the regulatory expectations rise and financial institutions try to meet those things, but at a cost that makes sense?
Oh, yes, definitely. Because unless you have all these three elements together, deep domain knowledge, advanced analytics, and technology, you can't do the transformation. You can still provide services, but you can't transform it end to end. For us, it's the domain experts who can think about the regulations or the client's expectations, and then a core engineering team builds things around it, right? Given the convergence we are seeing, we can build things for all across the globe now and make sure they are deployed largely through the cloud infrastructure across the board as well right now. So that convergence and bringing three elements definitely helps in the journey. And that's what we have been able to do today. Like when you look at building models, validating models, including documentation, we are able to reduce time by 40-50% very easily there, because it's the automation which is coming to the key. Same goes for your name screening processes, your transaction monitoring. So our objective has been that how we can reduce that time and cost and bringing that effectiveness and efficiency at a fraction of the cost.
That's excellent. That certainly backs up the well-deserved award. Our winner this year for One to Watch Financial Risk and Reporting, Solytics Partners. Thank you so much for your time, Vikas, and for the insights you've given us around how you're approaching this market and how you're serving your customer base. Thank you very much.
Mark, glad to be here. Thank you so much.